Okay, this is question 7 on exam 3 from spring of 2003, or 2013 rather. There's a footnote on this question because this year was one of the years I did not allow a crib sheet, so I just gave this formula because I don't expect anybody to memorize a formula that I don't have memorized, or specifically any formula that I did not have memorized when I began to teach this course. So, if you are being allowed a crib sheet or a 3x5 card, then you should put this formula on it. Right, so the demand for a product is given by a function. So here, first of all, we normally have Q as a function of P. And before we even get into this question, this is find the elasticity. If this price rises by a certain percent, find the percent change in demand. Okay, this is a standard question, but here's the trick, is that I've given P as a function of Q. So there's two ways to handle this. You can either solve for Q as a function of P. So you'd say, P minus 90 equals minus 10Q, and then you'd divide that whole thing by minus 10. And then you'd end up with Q is equal to 9 minus P over 10. And that's totally fine. And then you can just go about your life as if the problem had been written that way. And that's a totally valid way to do it. And there's no point in showing you that, because then I'd be showing you the exact same technique that we used in class and on the other practice exams and stuff. So I'm going to now show you what you could do if you decided to go a different way. So we have the formula, elasticity is, absolute value, which I hate, just minus dq dp. What I mean is I hate the fact that the formula has an absolute value sign in it, because all it does is removes one negative sign, always, always, always. So I think that's an abuse of using the absolute value sign. So I can just find dq dp. How? Well, I have this. I can find dp dq, and that's minus 10. By the magic of calculus, we can actually take the reciprocal. This just works in the first derivative. You can't do it for higher derivatives, but it's totally fair game for this situation. We can just do that. And there's our negative sign that we wanted to get rid of. So elasticity is equal to minus of this thing times P over Q. And then here is P, and here is Q. And so now what do we do? Well, kind of reduce it a little bit. Let's see, divide top and bottom by 10. Something like that. Okay? That's fine. So then it says find the elasticity of demand when P is equal to 50. So P is equal to 50, but the formula is in terms of Q. So what is Q? Well, we're paying the price for not having done this the standard way. 90 minus 10Q. So what does Q have to be? Well, let's see. That means negative 40 equals negative 10Q. So 4 equals Q. Okay. So let's chuck this stuff back into the formula now. Elasticity is 9 minus 4 over 4. So 9 minus 4 is 5 over 4. And that normally I don't care if you convert to a decimal, and I wouldn't take off. But you really want to see if this is greater than 1 or less than 1, and the easiest way to do that is to just convert it to a decimal. And then you can say this is elastic. Woohoo! So now the question says, if this price rises by 2%, calculate the corresponding percent change in demand. So that sounds really complicated, but it's not. If the price goes up 2%, what it's saying is, this is by the definition of elasticity, then demand goes down by 2% times elasticity, which is 2 times 1.25%, and that is equal to 2.5%. Okay? And let's say for some reason you just completely, you completely lost it. You completely forgot all this economic stuff and you just forgot to review for the exam. And you're like, okay, what do I do? There's usually a way out of this kind of thing. So you could just say, well, let's see, if the price goes up by 2%, what will happen? So this is really easy. If price is 50, and I made it easy on purpose, price goes up by 2%, that is 2 for 100, or 1 for 50. So if price goes up by 2%, what's the change in demand? Well, we just calculated the demand. Q is 4. So what is the Q going to be? Q2 is what? Well, just plug it back into the formula, right? So if P is 51, 90 minus 10 times Q, I'm going to figure out what that is. Let's see, 90, I'm going to subtract 51 from each side, right? And I'm going to get, I don't know, shoot, 90 minus 51. This is what happens late at night. I can't remember how to do simple arithmetic. Right, 39. Okay, so you get 39 minus 10Q, so 10Q is equal to 39. So Q2 is just going to be equal to 3.9. All this stuff need to get rid of. Okay, this is just 3.9. All right, and so what is the percent change in demand? It's change in demand over original, and that would be 0.1 over 4. Well, what's 0.1 over 4? I'm going to multiply, top and bottom by 10. Right, that doesn't look right. 2.5%. Well, let's see if that's right. 1 over 40. What is that? 1 divided by 40 equals, aha, equals 0.025. Yippee! Which is equal to 2.5%. Okay. Same answer, different technique. Please don't make such a mess out of your page. I don't want to see this kind of mess like I'm making. Because, like, I can erase it with my magic eraser, and this is okay. Yeah, that kind of scribble, that's totally understandable. And so what I would do is I would bring your work down here if you can. Okay? Or if it gets really, really messy, just sort of draw arrows. I did that a lot when I was a student, just kind of like go here and go to here. My teachers must have hated that. So I will forgive you because I've done the same thing too.